Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at literary devices. So, what are literary devices? Commonly, the term literary devices refers to the typical structures used by writers in their works to convey their messages to the readers. And when employed properly, the different literary devices help readers appreciate and analyze a literary work. So, in terms of like AP1, you'll be using literary devices a lot for rhetorical analysis because when you're giving your quote unquote tour of a passage or text, you're gonna need to know what literary devices the author is using. So there's two different kinds of literary devices. There's literary elements or literary techniques. Literary elements have an inherent existence in literary piece and are extensively employed by writers to develop a literary piece. Similar, like, for example, plot, setting, narrative, etc. And then the other type is literary techniques, and these are structures which are usually a word or a phrase in a literary text that writers employ to achieve both artistic ends but also to like help readers develop a greater understanding or appreciation of the work. Examples of that are metaphor, simile, alliteration, hyperbole. So, when you're taking the AP1 exam, it's definitely to your benefit to like go through a bunch of literary devices and just have like a general understanding of what they are. And like, so I'll be going through like three that I find are very common in texts that I personally have gone through. So the first is an allegory. An allegory is a symbolism device where the meaning of a greater, often abstract concept is conveyed with the aid of a more corporal object or idea being used as an example. It's usually a rhetoric device. An allegory suggests a meaning via metaphoric examples. An example of that is faith is like a stony uphill climb. A single stumble might send you sprawling, but belief and steadfastness will see you to the very top. So they're comparing the abstract concept of like faith and like belief to a stony uphill climb. Another one is alliteration. Alliteration is a literary device where words are used in quick succession and begin with letters belonging to the same sound group. Um, Basically, it's to create a repetition of similar sounds within a sentence. And an example of this is the Wicked Witch of the West went her own way. The W sound is highlighted and repeated throughout the sentence. Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, so the next one is theme. Theme is really important. If it's like a work, if it's a text that you're looking at that's like not really like it's not nonfiction, it's like a narrative or something along those lines. You'll want to be able to find the theme. The theme of any literary work is the base that acts as a foundation for the entire piece. The theme links all aspects of the work with one another and is basically the main subject. And an example of that is the main theme in the play Romeo and Juliet was love, with smaller themes of sacrifice, tragedy, struggle, hardship, devotion, and so on. So, these are just like some of the literary devices that I found come up a lot. And let's talk a little bit on literary elements and literary techniques now. So, some common literary elements are plot, setting, protagonist, antagonist, dialogue, conflict, and theme. And these are all considered literary elements because they're only there to develop the piece itself. Like, and they're very like they're necessary to the text. Like you need them to develop your work. And then a literary technique is or like some examples are imagery, simile, hyperbole, personification, alliteration, allegory, and irony. And these are considered techniques just because they're generally used by the author to make the reader have like a better understanding of their text and like better appreciate their work. So these like literary devices that I just went through and like the whole difference between literary techniques and literary elements, it's gonna be very like foundational for your writing of rhetorical analysis because it's basically like the entire basis for your essay. It's you're gonna have to pick out which literary devices come up, like which are the most important, and then give the reader of your essay a sort of tour through the text by the literal literary devices. So yeah, that's basically literary devices.